Rebel Rouser. I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7. We're at episode number 1622, and today we're going to do a quick Celebration Chicago update. Now, first of all, please check out, when you have a moment, our Instagram or Facebook or Twitter feeds. One of the three or all of the three. The same picture is going to be on all three of them later today. I'm going to post a photo of where the studio for Star Wars 7x7 is going to be at Celebration Chicago. So if you want to see what the building looks like, at least from the outside, then check out one of our social feeds and you'll get to see it. And as far as what's happened since the last time we updated, well, there have been some guest announcements finally. And one of them has to do with a brand new host for Star Wars Celebration Chicago. We already knew that David Collins and Amy Ratcliffe were returning as hosts of various stages at Celebration Chicago. Now Mark Newbold is going to be joining the fray as a host of a stage as well. And Mark has an extremely prolific Star Wars profile, and it goes all the way back to writing for Star Wars Insider magazine in 2006, contributing to Jedi News UK starting in 2010, and then he eventually launched his own Fanthatrax website in 2017. He's also written for StarWars.com, and yeah, his contributions to Star Wars fandom are just enormous. So it's great to see that he is getting a spot in the hosting situation for Celebration Chicago. Also, guests that have been announced include Rob Bredow, who is one of the heads of ILM. Specifically, he is the executive creative director, as well as the head of Industrial Light and Magic. And there have been a slew of authors who have been announced as joining the fun at Star Wars Celebration Chicago, including Alexander Freed, who is the author of Alphabet Squadron, upcoming. Also, Timothy Zahn, who is the author of numerous Star Wars novels, including the upcoming Thrawn: Treason. Also, the spectacular Claudia Gray of Lost Stars and Bloodline and the upcoming Master and Apprentice. E.K. Johnston, the Ahsoka novelist, who is also writing the Queen's Shadow novel, also upcoming. Delilah Dawson, who is the author of the Phasma novel and hopefully has more to come. Kevin Scott, and Kevin, I am hoping I'm pronouncing your name correctly, and if not, then please drop me a line and correct me. He has done a lot of the Adventures in Wild Space stuff. Jeffrey Brown, who has done some of the fabulous children's books in the Star Wars galaxy. And also Zoraida Cordova, who, you know, that's is said in The Inquisitive because, again, with the pronunciation, Zoraida wrote one of the short stories and from a certain point of view from the perspective of a couple of ne'er-do-wells in the cantina, and also a couple other children's authors, Katie Cook, who wrote the very cute Search Your Feelings book that just came out, and also Justina Ireland, who wrote Lando's Luck. You may actually be able to see a couple of those back there. So that is quite the roster of authors that they have going, and presumably all of them will be at the various publishing house booths for signing books and all that fun stuff. But that suggests that we've got some panel discussions happening, of course, which, you know, makes utter and complete sense. In fact, you know, the likes of Timothy Zahn, who, you know, has such a storied career, not just in Star Wars, but in science fiction in general, you know, you can imagine him getting a little bit more of the spotlight, you know, heck, even maybe his own panel potentially, but certainly being involved in announcements for what's happening with Del Rey in the rest of 2019, I think that's got to be a given. And, you know, Star Wars children's books, that's got to be a given as well as far as the panel goes. Beyond that, you know, what seems to be missing from the list of authors right now is anything related to Star Wars nonfiction. So we haven't had any Jason Fries yet, and I know Jason does both fiction and nonfiction, but, you know, in particular, writing for the Cross Sections books of the Visual Dictionary, which means Pablo Hidalgo, hasn't been mentioned. Of course, he's going to be there. How could he not? Anybody working on Cross Sections, like, for example, Kemp Remillard, for example. So anybody working on the Abrams, you know, books or anything like that, yeah, that still has, there has a lot of gaps in it as far as authors go. The likes of, let's see, Cole Horton or Trisha Barr, folks like that. So I think we have still many more authors that are going to be announced down the road. And we still don't have any actors announced for, The Mandalorian, for the Cassian Andor series, for Star Wars Episode 9. I mean, there's got to be some folks showing up from those as well. So I think it's safe to assume that we're going to see Mark Hamill, we're going to see Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, Adam Driver. I think it would be great to see Adam Driver show up for, the Episode 9 situation, wouldn't it? Who else are we going to see? I would think we would see Billy D. Williams and Kerry Russell and Richard E. Grant and all the other folks who are new to the movie and to the franchise. I think those are givens as well, but I think Adam Driver would be kind of the biggest win to have him involved in Celebration, at least this last Celebration for a Skywalker Saga movie. And that, for now, is going to do it for our update on Star Wars Celebration Chicago, and that's going to do it for this episode as well. And I hope you will subscribe to the show if you're not doing so already, and I hope you'll also consider joining the community at patreon.com/SW7X7. For now, though, it just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
This podcast is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2018 Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.